Good afternoon, everyone. My name is McCleary Frederick. I'm the Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands, and we're here today to announce the signing of a contract with Motorola to upgrade our public radio communication system. Here with us today is Mike DeVente from Motorola Systems, Minister Tara Rivers, and Lee Madison. This has been a long time coming, and the upgrade of the system will provide for us a state-of-the-art communication system for all of our public responders. At this time, I'm going to ask the Minister to say a few words regarding the signing of a contract with Motorola.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frederick, and good morning to everyone. It's really good to see not just obviously the representatives from Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, which is really kind of spearheading this particular project for the country, but we do have representatives from the key agencies, the end users, so to speak, who will certainly will be the boots on the ground to make sure that the intention of the system will be carried out, and that is to create a safer community, a more responsive community, a community that's able to respond to the needs as they occur. And so just to quickly recognize some of those agencies, we have the Fire Services Department, Customs Department, Immigration Department. I think we may have a representative from the police as well. And again, these are some of the emergency services through the HSA. These are some of the key agencies, as I said, and of course 911 communications, which also falls in the Ministry of Home Affairs, that will be certainly utilizing the services. And of course, from the kind of disaster management perspective, HMCI is really at the core of all of this. So with that, I want to say thank you again for joining us. And certainly, as Mr. Frederick said, this is a project that has been a long time coming, and I'm very happy to announce that we have arrived. And certainly it gives me great pleasure as the Minister with responsibility for Home Affairs to announce the Cayman Islands Government's newest partnership with a leading supplier of emergency telecommunications equipment, that being Motorola. The company was recently awarded a tender to replace the government's radio inventory with the state-of-the-art P25 system, designed for use by public safety organizations. And as I said, I've indicated a few of those, the critical ones that we have here in the country who will be utilizing the new equipment that will be brought on board as a result of this partnership. Now, I'm sure Mr. Frederick and his team will talk more about the specifics of the technology and the process that they went through in order to arriving at this point. But the agreement, as I said, has been in the works for a while, and after finalizing those details at the technical and department level, the Cayman Islands will soon be home to the most advanced and modern radio system in the Caribbean. And I think that is quite a great feat and accomplishment for the Cayman Islands, and certainly we look forward to the effectiveness of the rollout of this particular system as well. And so the brand new mission-critical radio system will play a vital role in enhancing the country's capabilities as the first responders for the country. And it's important to say that the government believes that the inoperable emergency communications is integral, or interoperable, I should say. Emergency communications is integral to initial response, the public health, the community safety, national security, and of course, economic stability. And this project really is at the heart of one of the key goals for the country. And as I said, that is to create a safer communities, reducing the fear of crime and the incidence of crime, and creating that economic stability that is so vital for the future growth and continuity of our country. So one of the most serious problems that can be experienced during an emergency situation is ineffective communication. And this is often due to a lack of the required infrastructure and technology to ensure the timely collection, the timely processing, and the timely transmission of key information to those agencies, to those entities, to those persons that need it real time. And so whether it is a scheduled event or an unexpected disaster, the P25 radio system is designed to enable a high standard of communication between stakeholder agencies within our public safety and national security framework and deliver the information required to coordinate a safe and effective response at such time as is needed. And so all the public safety agencies will have their current handheld units replaced with new technology, I understand, and the coverage will expand to all parts of the island as well as waterways for our maritime units. So the new Motorola system will also serve as a platform for future enhancements of government communications for our emergency services personnel. It will include some of the latest technologies, such as GPS tracking of emergency services personnel, the ability to send SMS messages, tow radios, and greater range of GPS tracking for maritime units. So as I stated before, it is critical that in order to address the needs, the concerns, the emergencies, the situations as they arise in real time, reliable communication is crucial for effective emergency operations and for the safety of all of our first responders. And that is something that the government is well aware of and concerned about. And so that is also one of the motivating factors for upgrading and enhancing our radio communications in this way. It is to make sure that the safety of the actual first responders themselves are very much taken into consideration. And, the government remains committed to the implementation of the state-of-the-art technological services in the Cayman Islands, and we will continue to support our agencies to deliver the highest standard of service. And providing this infrastructure is definitely one demonstration of that commitment. So thank you for being here to share with us in this very exciting news, and I'll hand it back over to the director to give us some more details as necessary.
At this time, I'm going to ask the Senior Vice President for Government Sales from Motorola if he would give us some comments.
Thank you very much. I think absolutely well said. Safer cities make thriving communities. And it's an honor for us to be able to supply this product for you and this solution for you. I think just after Gilbert in 1990 is when our relationship started, almost 29 years ago. And the system has continued to expand in coverage and capability, and now interoperable with LTE, with the carriers, the GPS, and the features. It almost doesn't sound like a radio system anymore. For us, it's a great honor and a pleasure to continue this partnership, and we appreciate the confidence that you all have given in us. Thank you.
We'll, if there's any questions about the system or anything else in relation to the sign of the contracts, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them for you at this time.
Andrell Harris with Radio Cayman. First question here is, what's the time span for the new contract? How long do you expect this contract to last? As well as what's the cost? What's the price tag here for the new upgrade?
Lee?
The system should be, I think we've got final acceptance testing planned for August, September of next year. So it will start being built at Motorola in Chicago. I think the initial testing up there will be in March. It'll ship, and then it will take the time to install, including 3 new sites. The final cost was, I don't have it on me at the moment, 5.9 million.
CI or US? Sorry.
CI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
CI.
Minister Rivers also stated that we'll be seeing a replacement of all the handheld devices as well. I mean, how many handheld devices do you guys plan to replace?
We've purchased 1,000 to start with. We will retask a lot of the ones that the police and fire have and other services that we take and replace with the ones with the new technology, and they will go to departments that don't need all the bells and whistles.
And perhaps, Mr. Senior Vice President of Motorola, you might be able to answer this for us. Can you talk to us about some of the specifics about these radios? What are some of the interesting features that will help to make or be a life-changing or life-saving change?
Perfect. Yeah, and you'll have to cut me off because I get so excited about this. I might go on too long. But these devices, these actually are for, we were just talking, these are for the fire. This also comes with a remote speaker mic with a strobe light on it. So when you talk about the moments that matter inside a burning building, when you have a strobe light and a visible radio, this is more tools that help. Big buttons for the gloves, right? These are the devices that you can see. What you can't see is the things that I think we were just talking about. The GPS, that means when officer goes down, signal goes out, you can go find people and you can help them, right? Radio gets stolen, it can be shut off, it can be found, it can be detected. The interoperability that we were talking about with LTE, and this system also is going to come with 10 LEX devices, which are IP68 waterproof, indestructible devices, which are Android, which will actually allow PTT over a cell phone device. So now even ministers and others can be in contact through the P25 network without carrying one of these, and it'll help you create better coverage and better penetration in your organization without all the additional cost. Those are just a couple, and I'll stop there, but we're very excited about it, as I'm sure you are, and once again, it's a pleasure to be able to provide that.
Hey, good morning. Ken Silva with the Compass newspaper. You're kind of just talking about it, but this is a related question. Can you talk about the advantages that this new system has over the current system, why it was necessary?
Well, the technology has completely changed. The system that we have is so old that, sourcing parts and bits and pieces for it is becoming more and more difficult. That's just that part of it. The technology advances that we have, right now none of the radios can use Bluetooth on the system. There's no GPS tracking that can be installed on the system that we have now. The features that he was talking about, strobe lights, the man down, and all of those issues can't be covered on the system that we have now. So with the upgrade of the system, it gives us additional resources and additional features that we cannot accomplish with the current system.
Will this require any new equipment for somebody like a boat just going through territorial waters, sending out an SOS, and if they just have an analog radio, will that be an issue, or can you speak on that?
Lee?
No, that won't change any of that. In fact, we're enhancing that they will be able to contact the 911 centre. We're putting in some new repeaters that will work for VHF Marine to join.
Sorry,
in.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry, we will be putting in some new equipment to let them talk from VHF radio with the boating ones direct to the 911 centre. And a lot of the radios will actually have that equivalent in them. So they will be able to talk direct to VHF Marine radios.
Okay, great.
The VHS system and the Ethernet system are two separate systems. So what the first responders will be using is the 800 meg system. And the scenario that you mentioned, they'll be using the VHF. So,
will this be used by 911 dispatch?
Everything that uses the radio will be changed out. So 911 will be getting new equipment, new systems. We're changing out all of the radios that the police have to give them new radios. All the fire department radios will be changed out. And those radios that remain that can be repurposed will be reprogrammed to work on the system and will be provided to other agencies that don't need the advanced technology.
Yeah, so there's been a long-standing issue of the fire department being on a different dispatch system. Does this address that issue?
There have been changes that have been made recently that the fire department is now dispatched by 911. So that and even so, that would not have been an issue because they're all on the same radio system.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Philip Richter. I work for Cayman 27. You mentioned this agreement is a long time coming. How long is that?
Well, I guess I can start from the kind of political mandate. So the political mandate was actually given in the last administration to look to address the concerns that were flagged at the time. And that's where, so as a government, we recognized, this was a concern and we needed to move forward with it. And as I said, it was, and then we have representatives of the, as you know, in the current administration, the responsibility for home affairs have shifted, but certain aspects still remain with the now Ministry for Human Resources and Immigration. Again, and of course, immigration is a part of this kind of process as well as it relates to the key first responders as and when necessary. So I will turn it over to whomever can kind of give us the more technical history of where we are and how we've arrived at today.
Well, we started to look at initially to upgrade the current system that we had as a stepping stone to replacing the system with the state-of-the-art technology. But this particular contract, we went out for a request for information in 2015. We got interest from, I think it was 5 companies. We then put it back out for a request for RFP in late 2015. We went through the process with CTC. Contract was awarded then to Motorola. And we've been negotiating with Motorola on what the system will actually entails up until this point. That we have agreed on the content of the system, and we've now signed a contract for them to deliver that.
My final question here is, it was mentioned, that the relationship began just after Hurricane Gilbert, a little before my time, and I understand the importance of the radio system in the event of an emergency. But what happens in the event of a hurricane and wide-scale destruction and devastation? Will the radios still be online? Will you still be able to communicate effectively as if nothing was wrong?
Well, I'll answer that based on our historical events that have happened. We had Hurricane Ivan, and one of the things that was working after Hurricane Ivan was the radio system. We had some minor issues with it, but for the most part, the radio system stayed up and was functional afterwards for first responders to be able to go out and do what they needed to do. So with the infrastructure, we have ensured that the towers, the equipment on the towers are all rated for 150 miles an hour winds or higher to give us that stability and reliance on the system. No further questions. I'd like to thank you all for coming out here today with us for this grand announcement. For some of us, like I said, it's been a while coming, and I'm happy to finally see it through. And I would like to thank Minister Rivers for her support since taking over the Ministry of Home Affairs and seeing this through for us. And I would also like to thank Motorola for their patience and their working with us to develop the system and build the system. And I also like to thank HMCI staff because they're the ones that keep it going, and especially Lee here, and Mark isn't here today, but he's the one that actually does all the grunt work to keep it going. And I'd like to thank them for their work and dedication in making sure that all of our first responders have a tool that they can rely on in terms of being able to communicate with each other and providing us with a safe environment to live in. Thank you.